welcome to the Madhouse UK podcast. I'm Steve Tierney. Quite a few things to get through today. Interestingly, I said in the last podcast that it would be a good idea if guilds were to send me announcements that we could turn into kind of a notice board, and they did. Quite a few of them did actually, so that's pretty much all I'm going to be doing today, just reading out guild announcements. But before that, I just want to apologise. I have missed a couple of days of the podcast, which I'm supposed to be doing near daily. There's good reason. At the minute, I'm having to travel down to Hertfordshire to do work 3 days a week, and where possible, I try and do it in a 3-day block, so I stay over rather than driving backward and forwards, because I live in Cambridgeshire, and that's a sort of 120-mile drive each way, and it can take sort of 3 hours, so it's a 6-hour round trip. I don't really want to be doing it every day, so I try and stay over while I'm there. And the idea that I had was that I would pre-record the podcast and then set it up to schedule, or maybe I would even do it there, but for various technical reasons neither of those things worked this time. Hopefully next time they'll work better, so that's why there's been nothing up. But never mind, so here we are, and we're going to do our various different guild announcements. Some of them are guilds, some of them are individuals who are sort of associated with guilds, and I'll read them out one at a time. So first of all, this message from Duke Estavios, Soul Saver. I would like to remind all members of the RGA that although the Wild Damsels offer a valid and useful service to adventurers and other citizens of Bereni, one I have absolutely no problem with RGA members making use of, they are not a Crown Loyal Guild, and their views towards the establishment are not compatible with our own. Joint membership is not allowed, but visits are. If those visits involve bootlicking and everyone involved is a consenting adult, that's entirely up to you. Some mild response to the guild announcement from last time, I think. Okay, next one. The White Tower would like to announce that after a period of inactivity, a new leader, Baron Giblet III, has taken charge and intends to restore the White Tower to its former glory. To this end, we would like to announce an expedition to explore the newly discovered Shadowcleft dungeon. I'm sure I did this one last time. And are therefore looking for volunteers who are qualified to enter, scout and discover the secrets within. Any existing member or newly appointed squire of the tower who does can expect rapid advancement to the rank of Knight of the Sword and maybe beyond. I did do this one last time, but never mind. Doesn't hurt to do it again, does it? Out of character, Matt Hillman says to PM him for more details if you're interested. So there you go. You can probably contact him through the Facebook page or through the Yahoo group or through the game notice board or whatever. Okay, next one. Hail and greetings, adventurers of Bereni, Derwent and the Frontier. If you seek adventure, not fame and fortune, but due to a sense of responsibility and a joy of discovery, then the Great Library may be the guild for you. If you have the gift of foresight, whether through visions, dreams or a sixth sense, and want to put that gift to work in service, then the Great Library is the guild for you. If you are an alchemist that wishes to put your craft to use supporting your fellow adventurers, then the Great Library is the guild for you. Those interested in learning more about the guild and its goals, contact myself or Friar John, the head librarian, for a copy of our guild I've lost my place entirely. For a copy of our guild inquiry. In short, we are a Crown Loyal Guild. Some consider us a social guild, and others consider us an arcane guild, which allows adventurers of all professions to join. You can join other guilds that are not exclusive or will not interfere with your loyalties to the Crown. Feel free to inquire for any clarifications. You must submit yourself to a simple interview process, details of which are in our guild inquiry. For those who are Derwentian free agents, we would not ask you to betray your country if you still felt loyal to it, but should you seek membership in the Great Library, we expect the same loyalty to Bereni as you would give Derwent. If you can do that, then a greater good can be served for the benefit of all. Even if you don't join the Great Library, we are always looking for new information to help adventurers fight the coming darkness. Our library is open to all seeking to further their knowledge, and we always welcome new discoveries. And that's from Lydia Fermain, Priestess of the Gods of Light, Seeker and Secretary of the Great Library. Okay, good. Lots of different sorts of guilds making themselves known here. Okay, this one's a new one. After an extended period of comparative silence, Divigilaire is re-entering the public dialogue regarding events in Bereni. The founder of Divigilaire was one of Lionel Tredac's captains in the defence of the Golden Castle during the final years of the demonic invasion in the Time of Thunder. Both a Lionel Tredac loyalist and a devout follower of the Gods of Light, Pius Princeps founded a guild that was loyal to both the Crown and to one of King Lionel Tredac's first establishments, the Church of Bereni. True to these roots, Divigilaire is a Crown loyal guild which is heavily focused on its key principles: purity, vigilance and devotion. Divigilaire is unique. As the only true religious guild, the Lord Crusaders permit Crusaders of their orders to join Divigilaire, although the Lord Crusaders of Shanna and Merle do have certain requirements which must be met to be given permission to join. Several other guilds permit their members to have joint membership in Divigilare. If you are devout in nature and wish to lend your gladius, your senses, or your voice to fight the forces of evil and darkness, feel free to apply for membership in Divigilare, and that is signed by Saseta Divigilare. So all sorts, lots of different sorts of guilds here, and some of these guilds have been going for a very long time and are really established in the game, which means if you join them, you have access to a whole bunch of special stuff, and they organise things, and you can discuss stuff with them. They've got stores of knowledge. They will sometimes help you to improve in the game if you're new to the game, so it really is a good idea to think about getting involved with a guild. The next one, the Runeforge is always seeking new dwarven bloods to bolster our ranks. We have a proud heritage of supporting the crown through difficult times dating back to the time of Thunder, when the Runeforges were laid to waste by demonic forces. In the last 20 years we have started to rediscover these Runeforges and started to unlock the secrets that were thought to have been lost over the years. Although initially only the power of fire and earth runes could be unlocked by our members, we have since discovered how to unlock more runes, including those of water, air, life and death, and many others including ancient power runes like the Kirali rune. These discoveries have taken the guilds across the land and even as far as the ancient temples of runes located deep in the frontier and overseen by the King of Runes himself. Not only have we rediscovered the art of runeforging, many of the old runes, but we have also discovered the ancient secrets of rune bonds, tattoos, and even various forms of rune paths. If you would be interested in finding out more, then come to any of our runeforges that can be found in many of the major dungeons and speak to one of the resident runeforgers present, and that's signed by Gimli Ruddle, Runeforge High Elder. It's interesting that because it shows you how much the guilds have done and how much the game has kind of developed around them and in favour of them over the many years. Lots of stuff has been added to Dungeonworld to try and make guilds an integral part of the game. Some people think we still need to do more, and we probably will, but we have done a hell of a lot over the last kind of 20 years, that's for sure. And it gives the game some of its kind of depth and interest. There's so much to discover, and guilds are no small part of that. Okay, next one's from the Order. Following the time of Thunder, the common citizens of Bereni lived in fear. Communities were under constant threat of being sacked, its savagery not just at the claws of demons, but more often by the hands of man. A band of adventurers saw the devastation that evil unchecked brought to the kingdom, and it weighed heavily on their hearts. As a whole, they vowed to fight for those who do not have the means to fight for themselves. They formed a guild and called it the Order, for they viewed themselves as the answer to rid the chaos and cruelty that existed. The founders clothed themselves in secrecy, ever watching from the shadows, for when evil lurks in high places, the guild hierarchy wished to be able to execute their plans and strike swiftly without compromise. The Order's small contingent of dedicated members spread far and wide, weeding out those who sought tyranny and oppression over law and order. They fought to put an end to the perpetrators of such foul deeds. Anonymity, however, does not make for good leadership. While other guilds in the land proclaimed loudly their presence, the Order worked silently. Bells and whistles drew adventurers towards fame and notoriety, and the Order grew into obscurity in all but name. No one knows truly when the founders of the guild perished. Many believe they sacrificed themselves defending Bereni from a monstrosity from beyond the veil. Other lesser whispers of their demise still persist as well, namely that they were discovered and killed for something that they learned. With the leadership gone, the Order fell into disrepair. Recruits were few and far between, only hearing of the Order by happenstance from an old hand, still danger-seeking and looking for the brave. Then a few years ago, a new breed of adventure discovered the Order. A family of dwarves of Clan Pyrite felt a calling to resurrect the Order. Cladak and Bourbon proudly wore their armbands, proclaiming themselves members of this once-lost guild. Due to having no leadership and a strong sense of duty to the people of Bereni and beyond, they now lead. Cladak and Bourbon Pyrites boldly lead the Order in the public eye. They wish to be a beacon for the brave adventurers who seek to protect the people of the land from tyranny and oppression. Their first order of business was to proclaim the guild crown neutral. This does not mean that the Order will not support the crown in times of need, nor does it mean that any of its members would offer disrespect to the rightful rulers. It does mean that the Order will not blindly follow anyone. Our oaths are to be taken seriously, and one should not make an oath blindly. The Order was founded on 4 tenets: to aid those in peril, to free the oppressed, to fight for those who are dominated by evil, to eradicate those who would oppress the masses in the name of evil. Recently, Cladak sent one of his many siblings into the Great College ruins. Algrim was tasked with finding any mention involving the Order. While he failed on finding anything mentioning the guild, he did find one interesting text. On a parchment superimposed with an image of a winged hourglass and a scythe was written the 9 noble virtues of the Order. It was written by Mal the One Poet. Algrim shared his finding with Cladak, and the text stirred something deep within his heart. It is now incorporated into the Order's oath. Membership has grown substantially since taking the leadership of the Order. Still, we seek more brave men and women to stand for good. Our Council is discussing enacting a system of rank to denote our members' length and service and current duties. We are also negotiating with various outlets to try and provide better services for our members. Several missions will be underway in the near future. We are ever listening for the whispers of evil arising. When it does, we shall be there, standing as sentinels against whatever may come. To our current members, remember your duty and embrace your virtues. We are looking for you to be strong for those who can't. Alone we are a boulder that will crush those who bring harm to any free person, but together we are a mountain. For those who are not free, we are coming. So that's a big long one there from the Order, and I think I'd prefer it if you didn't do them quite as long, but actually I quite enjoyed that. It was well put together, and as you can see, the guilds are active, and there are more guilds than that, I can assure you, and I reckon that I might have missed one or two actually, but I'm sure there'll be more next time. And I think the way forwards for the game is almost certainly going to be to continue developing the guilds as a strong part of the game. So that's where I'm going to be putting my efforts, probably for the remainder of this year and into 2020, because I think that they really do add something special that many games don't have. And if they were just a guild just for roleplay, that wouldn't be as good. But what we do is we build things into the game so that we make them alive in the game. And that I'd like to do a lot more of that. So that's pretty much it for tonight. Sorry we missed a couple of days, but I will be doing another podcast tomorrow. And don't forget, Sunday night, 7 o'clock for the chat room. Until then, see you soon.